a representation of unity, singular and unified purpose. That's one of the many reasons given to justify the logo in 2016. Today, we're being told that it does not represent the principles for which the Electoral Commission stands. There's been mixed reactions following a directive from the EC that, effective today, letterheads received will bear the original Eagles and coat of arms logo. And you know that logo has an arm of someone voting. That logo will stand from now on. We'll go to the justification being given by the Electoral Commission. We'll also be talking to some of the political parties on what they make of this decision. After that, we're looking to engage the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, that's CODEO, on what they make of this. Most importantly, like I indicated, we'd love to hear from you, the citizens. You can share your comments with us on our social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, and we'll share it with the rest of the world. But let's take you back to that very controversial logo conversation and about how the former Electoral Commission chairperson, Charlotte Osei, explained her way out. So for the cost of redesigning the logo, we're told that the figure that was pegged for this was 23,470 cedis, 1 pesos, and that was done by Kazaa Limited. Now, the cost of the letterheads then, we're told, was 43,750 cedis, and that was for 150 rims of papers. Now, that was also done by InnoLink Limited. And if you move on further, it says that the circle, and this is the justification that was given by the Electoral Commission at the time. It says that the circle represents unity, singular and unified in its purpose, that is Ghana's democracy, and the color, that is the blue of the circle, represent the stability and the independence of the Commission. The inward moving arrows, were told, reflected all the people of Ghana equally coming together for the common purpose, that is the right to select political leadership. Now, the use of the red, the gold, and the green, as you may well be aware of, is the colors of the nation. And the justification there was that it represents our country. The whole identity represents a unified common purpose and vision, and demonstrates the country's the Electoral Commission's independence as an institution. So you've had an idea about the cost. You have an idea about the justification that was advanced by the Electoral Commission then, headed by Madame Charlotte Osei. What we still do not know is the full details of how much it cost the Commission to rebrand the entire Commission in 2016. Well, let's hear the response that was given by the former EC boss, Charlotte Osei, on the cost.
You say branding. First, there's the logo, and it's ongoing. It's not even finished. We haven't gone doing signage. We haven't done our vehicles. We usually don't even do our vehicles. I'm not sure we intend to.
But do you know how much we spent so far?
I couldn't tell you.
But those figures are there.
Sorry?
Are those figures there? Can we find out?
Of course they're there. I mean, there's a process, and people have to understand that we work within a budget. The EC is independent, but is also subject to laws. So we go through audits. We're audited by the Auditor General, and they go and they look and they make sure we've gone through right process, due process. We've spent within budget. We don't just have unlimited funds. And a lot of the reform process going on is also supported by donors, because donors have been working with us and trying to help us ensure that we finish the internal reforms, because we keep putting electoral reforms on top of the same structure. The structure must support the reforms and the things, how you're carrying your mandates. And so there's a lot of donor support for the internal reforms that are going on. It's not just about putting colors together. It had to represent something. We were also benchmarking internationally. We did look at logos of other electoral commissions. And it's important that we work very closely with other electoral commissions. They visit us, we look at their strategic plans, we exchange information, we exchange, we study visits are always going on. So there is a process. A logo is not just an artistic competition. It has to stand for something. We went through a process, and no, my husband did not design it. He's not a graphic artist. We went through a process, and I'm not even the only one married to a graphic artist, by the way. We went through a process. We in terms of developing the brand and what we wanted the brand to stand for. We engaged internally. We made inquiries. We had people bring. We selected as a commission, and that's why I said we selected it and we like it. If the Turkish institute,
Educational institute,
we plagiarized their logo.
that is the claim.
Then they certainly have rights under the law. We don't feel we've plagiarized their logos. And if you look internationally, there are many logos that look
But have you seen that logo, by the way?
I have. I don't think it looks like mine. I like mine better. So we looked at, we like it. We are comfortable as a commission that it represents the values and the brand we want and the image we want to portray, and it supports our strategic direction.
So what do you like? What makes you comfortable? Do you feel comfortable with the reverse decision taken by the new Electoral Commission head? Well, what is this? Returning the EC to some sort of former glory? Is that the case? Well, Deputy Electoral Commissioner Dr. Eric Bosman-Asare has been defending this decision by the Electoral Commission to return to the use of the old logo. He says it will cost the taxpayer not more than just about 15,000 cedis.
To a large extent, the logo depicts what we do as an organization. I said previously, we have transparency, fairness, and integrity embedded in the logo. And those three things are very, very important, plus accountability. As an election management body, you should be thinking in terms of those. And our thinking as a commission is that when our workers see that clearly, it's telling you that as a worker, you must be working towards being transparent, being very fair to the players of the game, make sure you are maintaining a high level of integrity, you are accountable, and those things are very clear. There is no ambiguity. When you look at it, you can easily explain it. But the reality is that, as I said, we are not so much interested in branding per se. So what we are going to do is that we are going to pull off some of these things, and some of the places will require just painting, following the paint which is already there. So those are more the things we are going to be doing. And a number of these items are wallpapers with the logo. So it's just a matter of having a new wallpaper with the new logo. And in many instances, some of the cost is going to be part of the routine administrative expenses. Because when you look at our 2019 budget, there is no line for the replacement of the logo, meaning that we are not going to do anything so grandiose, anything we are going to bring the media, etc., to come and hear that we are branding our offices like that. It's going to be very, very parsimonious, something which is very, very simple. So we are not going to be spending so much money on that. I said initially the EC is a state institution. We are using taxpayers' money. So we want to be sure that anything we are investing our money in, we are getting value for money. We've done the letterheads, and the letterheads for even nationwide is not costing us more than 15,000. The other things we are not going to say we are going to do them immediately. What we will do is that we are going to be removing the old ones. Once we remove, we will take our time. Anytime administrative, operational monies are available, we'll try to work on this. But one thing I can assure you is that this is not something which is going to be a lot of money. It's not going to be very, very significant, because we are not so much interested in branding the institution per se.
So that is Dr. Bosman-Asare there speaking to us earlier today, explaining away the decision that the EC has taken. Well, let's have a conversation on this. We begin with the NPP, which seems to support the idea. Evans Dimako is Director of Elections of the NPP. Mr. Nimako, thank you very much for your time this afternoon here on The Pulse.
Welcome, Gifty. I hope you are doing well.
Not bad at all. Now, people will say actually that it's not a big deal that the NPP will say, well, we like it, because they'll say the current EC boss was appointed by the NPP, and so, well, it makes natural sense that you would like what they do.
Well, thank you very much, Gifty. Let me take the opportunity also to greet your listeners across the world. I don't think you've heard from the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Honorable Freddie Blay Wasumewu, or our General Secretary, Mr. John Buedu. Just for this conversation, I heard the EC commissioner speaking to you of their plan to give the commission a new image. I mean, for us as New Patriotic Party, all that we expect from the Electoral Commission is for the EC to do its work as mandated by the Constitution. We don't think that issue of logo or their colors is so much to do with how they will conduct themselves or conduct elections across the country where they need be. I think that for us, as to the issue that because Madam Jemensa was appointed under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, it means that we're going to take everything that the EC comes out, or we accept everything. Once the actions of the EC is within the law, we will accept it. If we disagree that, or we have the opinion that the action or inaction of the EC is not in conformity with the law, we will challenge it.
Okay.
So let the argument be made. They said that they're looking at, I don't know whether you've check Nigeria and look at the coat of arms of Nigeria and look at the coat of the logo of the Nigeria INEC. You will see whether it is different from what the country Nigeria is using or is the same. For us, what we're saying is that it is for the EC to do their work according to the laws of Ghana.
Quick one, Mr. Animako. You mentioned in the beginning of your submission that for you, it's not about, and when you say for you, I believe you're speaking for the NPP. It's not about the changing of the logo. It's really not about the logo. It's about an EC that is effective, an EC that is delivering on its mandate and making Ghanaians happy that they're paying them. Is that an admission that this whole reversal is totally unnecessary?
The EC times past, when they were changing their logo, didn't consult the New Patriotic Party. The current administration didn't consult us that they're changing their logo from this one to the old one in order to reflect their vision and mission. So I will leave that to the EC to manage themselves. These are, for me, administrative issues. Whether we like it or not, Madame Charlotte say change the logo of the EC and justified it.
Okay.
This is a new administration that has taken over, and it's of the view that in order for them to communicate to the world and deliver and ensure that they are meeting their mission and vision as a commission, they need to go back to visit the old logo and apply that one to ensure that this is the EC of Ghana. If they had consulted us at IPAC, maybe the party would have given its opinion.
What would that opinion be? Will it be different from what has happened?
I'm saying that if you had been consulted then, maybe you give a thought. But this is something they've come to us already with. Are we going to court to say that, hey, because we changed the logo to the old one, we're going to challenge you at the law court? You're not going to do that. The concentration of the New Patriotic Party is to build a stronger party that will support Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration. Said that Ghanaians will have confidence in us. It's the interventions that the government will come up with that will alleviate the challenges of the people, that they will have confidence in to give him the mandate again when we go into election in 2020. So
do you find this move? Do you find this move as necessary? Because we're going to spend money, by the way. Do you find it a necessary move?
In the first place, there was no need for Madame Charlotte to say to have changed the logo.
Yes, we have moved on from there. We are at a certain level where that has already been done. We've spoken about it. Actions have been taken. We are at a different level where a different action has been taken, and that's the focus of the of this particular conversation. Do you feel that it was necessary at all?
The New Patriotic Party will take the EC on if they fail to ensure transparency, fairness, integrity, and accountability in the discharge of their duties.
We have not answered my question, sir. Is this necessary? Do you feel it is necessary as a Ghanaian?
They've done it.
Is it necessary? They've done it, but is it necessary, you think?
I don't think you need to belabor the point.
If you
take the EC on is that they have failed to be transparent, they failed to be fair to all stakeholders, they don't show integrity and accountability, then we will take them on.
Okay, hang on for me.
About logo, It's something that for me is administrative, and they have to handle that.
Hang on for me. Well, it is administrative, but mind you, we're paying for it. But hang on for me, Mr. Nimako. Let me introduce Director of the PPP, Paco Akon. Mr. Akon, thank you very much for your time this afternoon here on the Post. I've just been talking to the NPP. Obviously, there's no problem with this. Do you have a problem with what has happened? Director of Communication, I must say, for the PPP. Does the PPP have any problem at all? Do you think it's necessary?
Well, thank you for having me, and let me use your platform to wish your viewers a happy afternoon or a good afternoon. In the first place, as a political party, when the issue arose in 2016, we made our point clear that the decision to change the logo of the Electoral Commission of Ghana was not necessary, and we still stand by that position. Our position on this matter hasn't changed. We believe that the old logo represents the commission. The current logo as we have it, nobody understands what it represents, and we are even confused about it. But the little challenge we have is that as we speak, we have no idea as to how much it's going to cost the state to print new receipts, new letterheads.
We know how much it's going to cost, at least for the letterheads. We understand from Dr. Bosman Asari this morning that it's going to cost about 15,000 for the letterheads. The rest, we're not quite sure yet.
Yeah, but it is not only the letterhead. If an office is changed, it is not just about letterhead. Even letters, envelopes. The commission normally puts its logo behind envelopes, and I'm sure receipts and painting of party buildings, if there are T-shirts and what they use, their clothes, the things they use during election, the ballots, the attire they wear during election. All these things, you need to emboss the EC logo on it. And so if we are going back to the original logo, then it means that these would have to be replaced. And it would have served as well if Dr. Asari had indicated to us how much the entire replacement was going to cost. But we stand by our earlier position that the current logo, as we have it, does not represent the Electoral Commission all of us know. Let us not forget that the country we live in, there are a lot of illiterate people amongst us. And many of them, if they see the EC logo as we have it in its original state, it gives meaning. But the current one, with all the angles and all the things around it, I mean, many people get confused by it. Although Madame Charlotte was able to give some explanation as to what that logo represents, I think it is still something that many people do not
So for you in the PPP, it's about the cost. How much is it going to cost us to reverse this decision that was taken by Charlotte Osei, first of all? Secondly, you think it is not necessary, even though you think that the current, the changed logo, the Charlotte Osei-led logo, was not representative of Ghana. Let me go back to Mr. Nimako and find out from you. Mr. Nimako, people have raised concerns that if we allow this to pass, I mean, from the look of things, not much can be done except someone want to test it in the law courts. But people have concerns that if we should allow this to pass, what it means is that any person, should there be any changes in the EC, at the EC, we could see such changes going on as well. People have concerns that this does not augur well for the future of the Electoral Commission.
Well, Gifty, thank you. I think that as a country, our development hinges so much on rule of law. I mean, we should let the law work. Said that nobody will just be taking the nation for a ride. I'm not saying that the current GC is taking us for a ride, but you heard the gentleman on the line saying that even apart from Madame Charlotte Osei, who was able to explain to us the meaning behind the logo, any other person you ask from the EC has difficulty telling us what it means. I don't have any difficulty at all if we go back to the old one, but the EC was not under any obligation to consult us as a political party or any of the political
parties.
It's
not really about the consultation, Ms. Animako. It's really about what future exists, or what lies ahead in the future for the EC if this is allowed to pass.
For this action, is it within the law? That's something that we only develop if we allow our laws to operate. I'm saying that this action of the EC, does it conform to the law or doesn't? Because before Madame Charlotte Osei made the changes, she didn't consult the New Patriotic Party. The same way Madame Jemensa did not consult her. But they've done it. And so I'm saying that the only way we can insulate ourselves as a nation is to have a law that says that you cannot, at any point in time, at your beck and call, do changes to institutions' logo and that stuff. So I think that it is for us to ensure that our laws work.
Okay.
The other thing I'm saying that the only thing that for me, the New Patriotic Party would take the EC on is when they fail to be transparent, to be fair, to ensure that there's integrity in their action and accountability. Issues of such nature are concentrating.
And which brings me to my next question, Ms. Animako, that the party, the NPP, has promised Ghanaians the creation of these regions. Was part of your manifesto, the promises in your manifesto. This is it's one of the things that you want to push through. You want to make sure that it happens. People are saying that at this point we should have an EC that is concentrating and informing Ghanaians about what steps they're taking, what efforts are being made to make sure that the referendum that we're looking forward to, is executed properly. And rather, we shouldn't. People think that we shouldn't even be talking about logos at this point, that we should be talking about the referendum that we're all looking forward to.
I think in the case of the referendum, the EC met the political parties on the IPAC platform, and we started the process of the EC undertaking limited registration exercise for those who were not 18 then and those who could not vote one way or the other. It was followed up with an exhibition of the register. The date for the referendum is slated for this month, 27, and as a party we are working towards. And mind you, from the Commission's point of view, this is a non-political activity being conducted by the EC. And so it's an issue of administration. And I think that we've not had any cause to disagree with the EC on the timelines of conducting the referendum. I think that all parties are also showing that kind of collaboration with the EC to ensure that these CAB regions get elections conducted.
Very well. Let me take a very final word, Mr. Kon. From the PPP's perspective, is this a dangerous precedent we're setting for the Electoral Commission?
Well, that is what you get with a duopoly, and that is what we are faced with as a people. And so we would like to say that having listened to Dr. Bosman Asari, I mean, you get the impression from him that this was not factored into their 2019 budget of the Electoral Commission, because from the comment he raised, clearly it tells you that the EC hasn't planned for this in their 2019 budget. And it's worrying if the state is going to spend such colossal amount on rebranding, and it's not factored in their budget, and it calls for worry. But the other issue too is I would want the EC to focus more on its function, which has to do with educating the public about the electoral process and the purpose for which the EC was created. We want them to ensure the implementation of the political parties law. Today we are talking about 240 or so thousand CD for the NDC primary. This is an issue that the EC must interrogate. It's an issue the EC must show interest in. We have a law, the political parties law, which says that parties must show their sources of funding. and who sponsors the activities.
So for you, these are the areas that the EC at this point should be focusing on and not on the logo. Very well. Very well.
Energy zones.
Very well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this afternoon here on The Pulse. I've been speaking to Evans Nimako, who is the Director of Elections for the NPP, also with Paco Akon, who is the Communications Director for the PPP. Thank you very much, gentlemen, once again. So we hit the street to find out what you think. Just like we're asking you to put it on our social media platform, we went out there to speak to people. Here's what they think about this.
Go and have you seen the new one from Charlotte?
I've seen the old logo, but I've not seen the new one.
Okay, so I just want to show you the logo so that you have a better appreciation of it. So these are the logos. So the one to our right is the one that Charlotte brought 2 years ago, yeah. And the one to our left is the original Electoral Commission logo. Yeah. You were here 2 years ago when it was changed, weren't you?
I was here.
Okay, and what at that time, what mindset did you have about the change of the logo?
That time, I thought it wasn't right for Mrs. Charlotte to have changed the former one to the new one, which he used. I don't know anything about that again.
It's just been 2 years, and the new Electoral Commissioner has changed the logo again. Are you still not sure about why this decision was taken?
I'm not sure. But if the new Electoral Commissioner, Madam Jane Mensah or something like that, had changed the Charlotte Osei logo to a new one, I think it's not proper. He's costing Ghana millions and millions of cedis. Why didn't they wait till the exhaustion of the materials that had the endorsement of Charlotte Osei for the 5-year plan as she proposed? And now they are changing it. It's going to cost Ghana millions and millions of cedis.
You also, do you think that it is a misplaced priority? We should be thinking about something else, not the change of logo?
Oh, the logo is very important to change the logo. Because during the time Charlotte Osei was planning to change the logo, all the senior citizens, we came out and they said, and we talked to Mr. Charlotte Osei, not to change the logo, but he refused to listen to the elders of the land. So I would like to make it point to those people who had anyone who had any office that you are in that office, you are in that office, whereby Ghanaians, they are using their tax to pay you. So whenever you are trying to implement something, and the Ghanaians said they don't want it, you have to listen to them. So any cost, any amount that may be cost, I think it will be a financial loss to Charlotte, but not the current one.
EC dumps Charlotte's logo, and the story is actually on page 3 on the newspaper. But let me find out from you. You have been selling it. I'm sure that when the old logo came out, you also heard about it. As of now that you've changed the logo, are you satisfied with the fact that they've changed it back to the original?
Yeah. First of all, I read something from the publisher, and the publisher was saying that the woman making a statement saying that the logo, when they made the logo, it made them happy. So I wonder why the first woman was saying that is so making a reference to the woman. The woman had just left the office. Yeah. So it's saying that the logo is.
So those are some voices on the street. Very soon I'll be sharing with you what you think on Facebook. But I have the National Coordinator for Kodeo, Albert Kofi Ahin, on the line. Ms. Ahin, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. You've heard what's been going on. You've heard the talk, the conversation about this new logo, or the old new logo, if you like. What does the Kodeo make of it?
Yeah, Kodeo as a body hasn't come out yet. So to be honest with you, I'm speaking to you in my capacity as somebody who wants to work as Director of Elections for the Electoral Commission.
Very well.
But I think that will be okay for you for now.
Very well.
Because Kodeo hasn't come out yet. And I cannot speak for them now because we need to have a consensus on what we have to say.
Okay.
So this is coming from me as a former Director of Elections.
And what do you think?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not surprised the new commission has gone back to pick the old
logo. Because to be honest with you, so far as I'm concerned, it didn't make sense to me as regards the new one that is to be changed. Where I found it to be an abstract, something that an ordinary person looking at it wouldn't know exactly whether that's an election department or something to do with election. If you look at the old logo closely, you'll find that it has a symbol of a ballot box. You have a ballot paper being inserted into the box. You have what we call the transparency, the fairness, or whatever, the integrity thing all written there. You know, and the coat of arms also there to signify that this is the Electoral Commission of Ghana. The coat of arms was there. It is so, there was a lot, there was some meaning to this. I remember some time back we even had a ballot box sitting on top of the entrance to the commission, where people who were looking for this location of the commission saw it and they just came. It is so, you know, the logo was not just taken, selected, just out like that. It had a meaning. It contributed to the education of the public. Looking at the ballot box and whatever it has, you know, send some signals to the people. This one, whether it's a concentric circle or whatever it is, nobody knows. And what is surprising is that even the staff at the commission didn't understand the one that is to be changed.
So as far as you're concerned, the one with the coat of arms is the most appropriate symbol for the EC. And so it is fine by you that the EC has gone back to it.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
What then do you make of the arguments that if we allow actions like this to stand, that it would jeopardize the future of the EC, in that any new person that comes or that assumes office there will decide to change things to suit them if they want?
Yeah, that would be very unfortunate. But I've heard people suggesting that probably some regulation or enactment should be made so that nobody tampers with it again.
Okay.
Well, that would be left to the EC officials to do. But I think it will be very, very appropriate if something is put down so nobody tampers with it again.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Yeah. If something is put down, it will be better for all of us. Because with all these changes, mind you, it's the taxpayers' money that is going. Whether we like it or not, they are going to incur some debt.
Exactly.
By changing. You see, so it's better to have it.
To protect this particular logo with some sort of legislation, so it doesn't make it susceptible to change as we go along.
That's it.
Very well. How soon should we wait to hear from the CODEO, officially, the CODEO's official position?
CODEO, when they are ready, I will know, and I will even call you.
Okay. Ms. Ahin.
Comes out.
Very well. Ms. Ahin, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
You, my dear.
Albert Ahin, he's a national coordinator for CODEO. He did make the point, though, that on this occasion he's speaking from a personal perspective and as someone who has worked with the EC before. He thinks that, well, the old logo works for him, but there has to be some sort of legislation that will stop any further changes going forward. Let's get on Facebook and find out what you've been talking about. You've been voting for us in our poll that we put there. About 2.5 million of you have voted. So 2.5 thousand, I must say, 2.5 thousand of you have voted so far. So we asked you about what you thought about the new logo, the old one and the new one. So you've been voting. 78% of you wants the original logo, which is what the EC has gone back to. 22% of you liked the new logo, which is the Charlotte Osei-led logo. So 78% wants the old one, or what we're now using, to stay. A quick couple of comments and then we will take a break and we'll come back with our road safety conversation. As now, Prince Lukman says, a country not serious like ours is the reason why the logo has become an issue for discussion when we have more pressing issues to address. And as now, a lot of people will agree with you on that point. Bright Kwame Srigbo says the original logo is good and explained itself. Deron says the old one represents vote manipulation and rigging, and the new one represents total autonomy of the commission and fairness. And by this, I believe you mean, I beg your pardon, you mean the one with the coat of arms is the autonomy, the one that represents autonomy and fairness. So those are some of your comments on Facebook. But obviously, we know the figure. We know the figure for those who want the percentage for those who want the old one that we've reverted to remain. Boama Kweku Boateng says, what is the meaning of, quote, original? Okay, you mean there's a fake thing going on? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so we've seen the votes. 78% of you think that the old logo, the one with the coat of arms, is what we should really stick to, you know. But 22% of you also think that we should, the old one, you know, was cool. In all, 78% obviously wins there. So the one with the coat of arms, it is. Well, whether we like it or not, the EC has decided already, by the way. Hopefully, we'll be able to protect the EC's logo from any further changes. But like many have said, is this really the priority? Is this really the matter to be discussing at this point when we have more pressing issues? This is still the pulse with May Gifty and Dopia. A quick break. When we return, we remind you to keep safe on the road. This time around, last year, we'll tell you the figures for accident. 2 years ago, we'll tell you the figures when I return, just so you can be safe.